Hi, Amélia. Thank you for accepting this invitation for the first session of SULx Talks. So Startup Lisboa Talks. The goal for these talks is to invite founders like you, to share their real challenges that they've been through, and share a little bit on the solutions they found and the process they found to overcome them. So on this first session, we have you with us, Amélia Santos. You are co-founder and CEO of Innuos, and you will be sharing with us the story, a little bit of the story behind Innuos and how you grew and scaled during this pandemic. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you, Nuno. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys and take part of sessions from Startup Lisboa. So thank you very much for inviting in this different contexts. So it's not in the building in Lisbon, but everyone from their place. But nevertheless, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having the time. We don't know yet, as we're recording this interview, when we'll have the chance to meet again at Rua da Prata. But on the other hand, at least we have the chance to reach out to everybody and not be limited by the physical space. So from my idea is that you started, so Innuos was founded in 2009 with the vision that like you don't need to sacrifice the quality of sound. So we're talking about like a little bit of sound geeks, or to know too much about technology to have like the best sound possible from digital music at the palm of your hand. Was this correct?
Yes, I would say so. So 2009 was the year where we started the idea. We started having the need at home actually to play our own music, and we couldn't find something that we wanted and felt that had the sound quality. So if you think about how you would listen to music some time ago, you probably would use a turntable or a CD player. Content evolved very quickly, and you started having streaming services like Spotify, online radios, music on digital files. But most people started using a computer or a mobile phone to play their music, and the sound quality is not the same thing as a good CD player or turntable. So that's why we started having the need to develop a specific device that could hold all the music in digital format and access all the music that you have on streaming services or online radio, but with very good sound quality, which is something that we've been losing over the years. We listen to a lot more music, there's a lot more content available, but the sound quality of what we hear is not always the best one we could. So we developed a device. Basically, we do both hardware and software, where you can store all your music. You can digitalize your CDs. There's still a lot of markets who love CDs, love to own their music as well. You also have the streaming services you can listen through the device. You have online radio, everything with very high-end sound quality. So that's the device, and it developed over the years. 2009 was when we started the concept. We were both working on corporate world, so we had international careers based in London. And that's when the idea started, but the brand itself, Innuos, was launched in 2016. Okay. So a bit of a time difference because we were working. So it was when we started, we were not full time.
So I think that's also a good remembering for the people listening out there, that a lot of successful and great projects might start a little bit slower as a side hustle, but then eventually when you have the proper setup and you just kick it off and go full on at it. So just a quick question, since you were in the UK, I assume UK is still a big market for you guys nowadays. How is I know this is a little bit out of the context, but I'm really curious, how is Brexit like changing your plans, and how are you and your husband dealing with this situation?
So Brexit was, I think, at the beginning when we knew that Brexit was coming. In the end, and after everything is more stabilized, it will become as one of the other international markets that we work with. So US is our biggest market at the moment, so we have to deal with customs, and we also have time zone differences and all of that. The UK at the moment is more the complexity and the unknown that everyone has on their table terms of what is required to deal with the UK in terms of international trade. So it's more that than an additional hurdle. I think in terms of the UK itself, they might suffer as an economy. For the moment, we might have seen the growth we were used to, but we're still growing in the market. So I think it's manageable so far.
Okay.
Complexity, but
so it's just one more foreign market, let's put it like this.
Yes, in a way.
Okay, so just as a side note, and I know I'm trying to do a little bit of cross promotion, we'll be having like a debate in Portuguese next Friday on February 5th about the Brexit. If you're curious to participate, it will be around lunchtime. So hopefully we'll have it recorded and you'll have the chance to check on it later. Great. So now going back to the script a little bit, Amélia. So you already told us you and your husband were in UK, you started with this idea. So how was the going from like, oh, we have a nice thing here, to let's actually do it, let's kick it off and let's start Innuos as a proper company?
It was interesting because it started as a personal hobby to listen to our own music and find a solution to do that. And then when we started realizing that the market didn't really have anything, from feedback from our friends, from what we could see, we decided to try on eBay and Amazon just to understand whether it had market potential. And it was quite interesting because over a period of about 6 months, we sold like 200 units. So it was quite a big surprise. I think that was one of the big push that we had to actually leave our corporate career, because it's hard when you have a good job and you're growing in terms of career. It's hard to take that decision to say, right, I'll leave everything aside and I'll start my own project. We felt that need, and it came very naturally because we saw the market potential of what we were doing. And we started having that will to start something on our own, to create our team, to see something growing, and we gave that step. But it's a tough one, especially because we both decided, we had a small kid, and we both decided to leave our very well-paid jobs and to start something. So I think if I wouldn't have seen the market potential, it would be a lot harder. But it took some years.
Okay.
From the start.
Between you and your husband, who's the rational one and who's more like on the hard side? The emotion?
It depends on the day. Okay. Depends on the day.
Okay. So I think the conclusion we can take from this is like the best way to start a company, and especially in such a risky environment, is to have a great founding team perfectly aligned with each other.
Yes, well, I would say so. I think it's having that vision and not giving up, because throughout the years you'll find huddles, you'll find difficulties, and it's having that vision and keep going, but also adjusting to the feedback that the market is giving. It's being very close to the market. We have very close contact with our customers, and we love that. So Nuno is very close to customer service, for example, customer support, because it's the best way of understanding how customers use our product and to fine tune it and develop it. We really use that feedback to develop the product. So it's making sure that you have a good fit with the market and you understand what do they value, what do customers value in what you're doing, and targeting your development around that. It's also focusing. So in our case, we decided to focus on digital audio. So our vision is to become the specialist in digital audio, from producing music to reproducing music in all sorts of different environments, with a very cohesive and integrated experience, making it very easy to use. So that's where we want to go. And we started in hi-fi, but we want to go into other industries. Nevertheless, the focus in an area, and then it's looking at the market at an international level, not just Portugal, not just UK. Actually, UK was our first market. It's really looking internationally, but focusing on what you do. I think that's key if you want to scale up from zero, which was our case.
So we're expecting to hear about a big buyout from Apple to Innuos in the upcoming years, I assume.
Don't think so, but
we'll see.
You never. I'm the type of person that I never say never to anything, because life really changes the way you see things and your contacts and everything, but it's not something that we are looking for or proactively looking for sure. But
Okay.
you never know. You can never say never, right?
Okay, I want to be on the top 10 of people listening to, like, knowing about those news. Okay, Amelia, I
Okay,
think I
okay.
called it out first. So,
Okay.
like, since you devote, like, you committed to be full time on the business, like, for how long were it just two of you? When started the need of hiring someone? How was that process? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So we decided to move from the corporate career and really focus on the business around 2012, 13. So more 2013. We were still back and forth from the UK, between Portugal and the UK, and we recruited the first person in 2014. And we looked for someone that would complement our skills. So that was our first approach. So looking at what we could do and building the team around making sure that we had the different skills that we needed. So for example, we looked for a designer at the time to help us on our marketing efforts. Then we had someone to help us produce because we manufacture internally.
I heard that, yes, Amelia, because you didn't have enough loose
No.
edges around.
No. So we have a very complete team, and in terms of the value chain, we go from research and development in hardware and software. We do internal production. We have marketing. We have finance, human resources, design. We have all those core functions: procurement, logistics, everything internally.
You are the full package, I assume.
We are the full package.
So going back to that first, or those first couple of hires, what you said that you were looking for skills that would complement yours and Nuno's, but in terms of, like, the personality, like, because hiring for the first time, I don't know how much experience you had before from your corporate life, but it's a big commitment, right? Because you're, in terms of percentage, one third person in a group of three, it's a lot. So how do you prioritize on what you're looking for? Because you can be looking to the, like, a killer portfolio, super, like, I don't know, bright designer, and then when it comes to the office, it's just like a clash. So how do you manage that? How did you approach this situation?
It varies throughout time. So I guess when you start a project, the project is unknown, it's harder to sell, it hasn't proved itself in the market, even if you're VC backed up, which in our case we weren't. It's still a new project, so you have to work a little bit harder to bring the right people to surround you and to grow that team. In terms of the skills that we look for, it varies throughout time. So probably in the beginning, you need people that are more versatile, that can embrace different types of challenges, don't mind doing different things. As you grow, you'll need to start differentiating in terms of your team. You need people that are more specialists, and then you need middle management. So the needs in terms of the skills you look for and the seniority will change over time. In terms of the culture, that's key. And it's very hard. We've been changing our recruitment process throughout the years to try to understand better how that person will work with the rest of the team. So we have a longer recruitment process where we start with normal interviews, and then we usually have one or two challenges that can last for a day, where that person will interact with team members and will have to present that challenge at the end of the day. And it's for them, it's as close as possible to also having the feeling of what it is that they will find when they join the team. So what type of work they will find, what type of team they will work with, and the same thing for the team, to understand whether that person will integrate well or not. It's not foolproof, so you will always have surprises after that, but I guess it's a bit more fair for both sides, because there might be a misfit, not only from our side, but also from the person's perspective. So we find it a bit more fair to do it like that.
How long, on average, how long does this process take? Just to scare some eventual potential hires that are listening to us, Amelia.
It varies. I had recruitments done in a week. I'm thinking of someone that we recruited over a week. So the whole process went very quickly.
Okay.
Because the person was available, so it was easier to schedule calls and challenges and things like that. And we felt we found the right person. We were recruiting for a while, and we really thought, right, this is a candidate that fits. Some others might take months. It depends also on our own internal stage, how much effort we can put into the recruitment at that stage. But it's taking longer now in terms of stages, not so necessarily in terms of overall time.
Okay. Okay. And do you think that by adapting and improving this constant A/B testing that you're saying about the recruitment process, do you see the results in terms of turnover and like general employee happiness, satisfaction, stuff like this?
I think so. I think having a team that works better, that you try to make sure that you integrate, having someone that fits into the culture really helps in the way we work as a team. And we have a very strong team culture in terms of working together, helping each other. And if you have someone that doesn't have that culture, it's much harder for everyone, for the person itself as well.
How
So I
many
think,
are
yes,
you now?
we are 30 at the
30,
moment.
30.
Yeah, 30.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So how throughout this okay, so 2016, your first, no, 2014, your first hire, if I'm not mistaken. So how is the team growing? Is it like being slowly and steadily, or is it like a little bit like the pandemic numbers that go up and
Go
down
up and down.
in the heartbeats?
No, I think in terms of going up, it always went up. Last year we were about 20. The year before we were about 10. So last few years, after we launched the brand and the products into the market, we've been scaling in terms of sales figures, obviously, and of team. So we had that more exponential growth.
Yes,
Over
but
those
you're
last few
been,
years.
from what you said, you're kind of doubling the team
Doubling.
size every year. So you're more like a pandemic, actually.
Okay, my God. My God, I have to say that to the
A
team.
very good one. No, very good one.
Someone called us pandemic today.
No, just like, okay, I'm sorry, Amelia.
No, don't worry. I understand you did it.
But
Don't worry.
so and still, I don't know, just like it seems like a very steep growth, and you still manage to find time to really look into the process, to analyze the results and to try to improve. So this is, you have a very wholesome perspective of the company, and you're still focused to grow. But, and you talked about a little bit about culture before, and you said it's really important. My idea is that I will never find a founder on your spot that will say no, we don't really care about culture. Even with that Coinbase, I don't know if you heard about the Coinbase CEO saying that he didn't want people discussing politics on the office. So all these different bits and parts make culture a thing. So how do you manage this? Like, is it more like a family? Because one thing is to have a family of 10, the other thing is to have a family of 30. And how did you adapt this? Because you want people to feel well, but you don't want it maybe too informal. The fact that you're also spread in different geographies and time zones also doesn't help. So how do you plan cultural development? Let's put it like this.
I think it's making sure that the team has a vision and a common goal that we're working towards. We have weekly meetings where we share everything that is going on with the company in terms of sales figures, everything. We're very open to share that with everyone in the team.
Meetings of 30 people.
Meetings of 30 people.
Okay.
It's a 15-minute Zoom call.
Okay.
Where everyone is around, and the different areas will share how production is doing, any campaigns we might be launching, sales figures, any important human resources topics that we want to discuss. Very short, to the point, but to make sure that everyone is aware of what we're going through. We also have Skype groups and Trello groups where we have an Innuos all, for example, where we share the key things, any nice reviews that we had, jokes from time to time. We have is what you were saying, we have an informal context, but very professional, because that's something that we value, making sure that we're still professional, that we have high performance levels, that we care about our customers, but that we are humble, feet on the ground, making sure that we keep improving ourselves and making things better.
So, and when did you start with these weekly, like I think they call it stand-up meetings or
Team huddles, we call it team huddles.
team huddles. Okay, so cool. So when did this start, and was it because of the pandemic or something that you already worked with in your corporate past?
We had before, we wanted to do that for a while, and we did it in smaller teams, but with the pandemic it was very easy for us to all go home in a sense, because we were spread in different geographies. So now we have someone in North America, in Canada we might be getting people in the US, in Germany we have an office in the UK and an office in Lisbon, and one in the Algarve where we have the majority of the team. So we were already spread. So we had ways of working together in different time zones and geographies even before the pandemic. After the pandemic, we felt it even stronger, the need of having the whole team together. Before, we used to do 2 meetings at least in the year where everyone would come to the Algarve in presence physically, to spend some time together, to discuss things and just to enjoy each other, to get to know each other better. So we did that before, and we had smaller meetings and in smaller groups throughout the week. But with the pandemic, we really felt now is the time. It was a great push for us to say, right, we need to have this short meeting every week to make sure that everyone is up to speed with what's going on. And especially being from home remotely, everyone, we felt that need. Production kept working and logistics side, but everyone else went home.
What's the name of those meetings in person in Algarve? I'm sure you have a name for that for sure.
Actually, no. Now that you're saying, we need to do one.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. That's a very important employee
Yes, we have
branding
to.
part.
Yes. And that's one thing that we weren't great at, employer branding and making. We work more on the day to day, and sometimes we forget to give the names to things. But we had those get-togethers. We recently recruited someone for HR, an HR business partner. So I'm sure she'll help in setting that up.
Okay, so just like to summarize a little bit of what we've been talking about, like you were already pretty much a distributed team, not fully remote, but like you said, you were already present in North America and UK, Germany, probably looking
Germany
into
soon, not yet,
Germany
but
soon.
yes. Yeah.
But still, it's 1 hour away. Probably, maybe the cultural barriers are a little bit more. So, how did you adapt to this? Because you already been working in UK. I assume you were working with a very heterogenic group of people, because the UK compared with Portugal, it's like hundreds and thousands of years ahead. But how do you deal with this, like on a practical basis? Because now it's your company. There's no like rules written by someone else. It's Amélia and Nuno writing the words with their own hands. How do you prepare to this?
And the team adjusting.
Okay.
But essentially, yes. You have different cultures, but my experience throughout the years, and I lived in many places. I lived in Singapore, in France, in Germany, in Switzerland, in the UK. And I feel that even in different cultures, you have people that can share the same values. And then you just need to respect each other, to respect the differences, and to be sensitive, to probably be less sensitive to comments from other people that might not know the culture. So you kind of need to understand not everyone knows what's relevant in one culture and the other. So as long as you dose that a little bit yourself, and on the other side that you respect others and try to listen and to make sure that you don't offend anyone. Apart from that, from the cultural differences, it's sharing the values of understanding, of being humble, of wanting to do better, of growing together, of having that vision. And sometimes it's hard. I won't say that it's not, but sharing those values, I think it really helps. And those are common across all cultures.
But But I totally understand you. I totally agree with you, and that sounds very well. But it sounds very corporate response. But in practice, on a day-to-day basis, like how do you? First of all, I assume hiring has to do a lot of work, and if you already put potential hires in contact with your current team, a little bit of the rougher edges already come out or show off a little bit during that time. But like in practice, and I will not ask you to share any specifics because this can be
I
quite
can
sensitive. But
give you
like,
an example. I can give
okay,
you an
yes, please.
example.
This is the kind of like bad examples for the other founders out there, how to
Okay.
deal with like these cultural problems
I
and
can give you an
clashes.
example. So, in terms of being professional, it's something that is common. So, being on times for meetings, making sure we deliver what we promise, those kind of things, we focus on that. Some cultures are a bit more flexible than others. Sometimes Portugal, you see that, but being professional is being professional, so that's the rule that we follow. But there's small things. I don't know. Think about the Portuguese. We go out for dinner, and we felt that when we had the meetings in Portugal. We go out for dinner, and after we say goodbye inside the restaurant, we come out, and then we can be chatting for another hour, right, before everyone actually goes away. It would drive the UK team mad. Like, what are you doing? You just left, you said goodbye, and they started leaving, and then they started realizing that we stayed behind, and what are they talking about, what are they doing? But again, and then we can all, as long as you can have a good laugh about yourself and about it, it's fine, right? But you have those differences, things that people don't understand, what's going on and why you're saying goodbye 10 times and why. But being culturally aware is something very important when we recruit. So how people deal with people that are different to themselves.
How many nationalities are you currently working with? Just for our audience to have an idea.
About 9. We're getting close to 9 when we recruit someone in Germany now.
That's more than many people have met until they're 18 or something. No, but yeah, yeah. I imagine your Christmas dinners. Yeah, for example, like these festive seasons, because people are different, coming from different cultures. Like, did you adapt your corporate communication so that instead of saying like Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, same for Easter? How do you deal like with these things that maybe in the Anglo-Saxonic markets and countries are a little bit more developed, and here in Portugal we still okay.
Yeah, there we go. We're getting better.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, probably we were too centered in the Christmas. And Christmas is usually one of the things that we celebrate as a team. So we still have Portuguese founding base, if you understand what I mean. So
So
it's
there's still caught
natural.
fish in your Christmas.
There's still cod fish in our Christmas,
Okay.
yes. But apart from that, we started, like, for example, when we say Merry Christmas and we're sending a letter to the US, we won't say that. We might say Happy Holiday. So we adjust the marketing message as well to who we're talking to. But slight differences, and then we might celebrate Thanksgiving, for example, and say Happy Thanksgiving to our customers as well, or partners. So we're starting to do small things to make sure that we not only celebrate what is important to the Portuguese, but also to the others. It helps when I said that we had a lot of nationalities, that some of them actually either moved to Portugal for a few years now. They're already in Portugal for a while. So that makes them half Portuguese and half other nationalities. The ones that are based in other countries, most of them are very open to other cultures, have traveled. So
It
they
gives you a
have
lot
that.
of bridges to reach out
Yes.
to all your different
Yeah. I think
customers
you
and all.
said the right word. As long as you find those bridges, it's easier. Yes.
Okay. Okay, very good. I know, like a little bit of a different question. Nowadays that we talk about like, and you already have diversity in terms of nationalities. Do you have any special worries in the recruitment process to make sure that your team is inclusive, that you cover all the different cultures, and I don't know, just to really have this great mix within your company
Within
to help you grow?
We make an effort in certain teams where we have less gender diversity, for example, and it can be women or men, doesn't matter. We make an effort to try to look for candidates that can make it diverse. We won't recruit if it doesn't fit, obviously, but we make a conscious effort to try to get that balance. And then apart from that, I guess we will respect different people. So we won't discriminate based on what they are, what their preferences are. So after that, that's how we treat the process. And even if someone even if we were really focusing on getting women or men and something different comes up, we won't restrict the recruiting because of that as well.
Okay.
We'll keep that back of our mind, but we won't just recruit because we wanted a woman or because we wanted men.
Okay. Okay. No, because this is a very sensitive topic, and I think in Portugal, as usual, we're still adapting to the idea. Eventually, in a couple of years, we'll actually put it into practice. But this kind of bias recruiting, and then you have like even in an investment base, people already have studies and data that backs that diverse teams have better results. They grow better. They have probably less PR scandals as well, because people are just more aware of each other in general. But do you think that the fact that having a female CEO, you have a better touch to this kind of topics, or it has to do with personality and your past and experience and the people that surround you on a daily basis?
I think it's a mix. I was used to work in very male-dominated industries. So started in IT, I did software engineering back at university, and I was one of 6 in the middle of 200.
Okay.
And then moved to IT, also very male-dominated. Retail was very male-dominated as well. So I've gone through that throughout my career. So maybe that in a subconscious way made me more aware of making sure I have that diversity. I'm also aware in terms of age, not just gender, because I think it really helps. And we have a lot of customers that are older, but they are not technology savvy. So we need to make sure that we support them in the right way. And when we are doing marketing or any other type of activities, that we don't discriminate and that we are as open as possible in that sense as well.
Good point. I think that diversity of age is something that people don't talk about that often, but it's quite important, especially within this transition between our economy, our current economy, to a more digital one, and the skills that you need to adapt and everything. And some people might just feel a little bit left behind, and it's important that you cover that. Amélia, we're almost over. I was very happy this time just flew. I have like 3 last questions for you, because you're a very busy person and I don't want to take
thank
more
you.
of your time.
You too. So
Yeah,
go for
but
it.
like any tools, any hacks, any services, companies that you can recommend for other founders out there, like looking to scale in an international, like something like Innuos did. Any hacks, any tips that you can share with our entrepreneurs?
I think look for talent regardless of location.
Okay.
So one thing that we're looking to recruit someone now for the procurement area. And we've been doing interviews in Mexico, for example.
Okay.
And we recruited someone last year to manage our operation from Brazil because he had the right experience. And sometimes the experience you need is not in Portugal. So you just need to look outside. We have one of the reasons why we have the office in the UK is because we have a lot of knowledge in terms of audio brands, and audio is very strong in the UK and is very close in terms of time zone and everything. So that's another reason why we have that team over there, and that it was quite natural for us to recruit in the UK. So look outside. Look for talent wherever it exists.
But
So
that is only possible because you already, when you created the company and you developed the infrastructure itself and the way it worked and the operations, was already prepared for this. Because I can assume that many companies, if you have a very location-based company, it's kind of hard from one day to another. Okay, I'm going to hire in Mexico and Bangladesh and Georgia at the same time, and
bring here. So some of them we bring here.
Okay.
So they need to be open to move to Portugal.
Okay.
And we have a lot of geographies that don't mind moving to Europe because you can offer
have you worked with any of these governmental programs like Tech Visa or
yes.
any of? Okay.
Yeah, so we have Tech Visa. So that's how we recruited from Brazil last year, for example. It really helps. Still a lot of things to be ironed out as any new initiative that is launched, but it helps, I think. At least you have some support throughout the process, which is good. In terms of other tools, is going along the lines that you just said. Tech Visa, look for grants that you can get on based in Portugal, but also European Union grants. Look for ways of recruiting in different geographies, in different ways, so adapt the presence that you have in a market to the needs that you have.
Do you usually use local partners for this, or just internet job boards and like networks you get there?
Yeah, usually LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn a lot to do recruiting. That's how we find a lot of our candidates. And we don't have distributors, so we work directly with the stores. So we tend to favor having our own presence in the key markets like US, like UK, Germany. That's why we're recruiting there now. I can see us finding someone in Asia in the near future. So that's how we look at the markets as well, to have presence in the local markets, in the key ones, obviously.
Okay, thank you. So which was your hardest and more important hire, and why? I know this is a very impossible question, not even fair, I would say, but I always like to do one a little bit more
a harder one. I guess the harder one that we had in general is to recruit the more senior levels. To make sure that you have someone that you can spread culture in different levels of the organization. So you can have someone more junior that is influencer and will spread that throughout the team. But I think the senior team has a key role in scaling up the company. And we're looking for someone that already has experience in certain areas. So we're looking for senior team, who have experience in our industry in a lot of the areas. So I think that's the challenge, and that's why we also develop recruiting processes not only in Portugal but outside Portugal as well.
Okay. So now a very typical question, so we don't surprise anyone. So Amélia, where do you see yourself and Innuos like in 5 years? I know these last 2 years make it very hard to project, but okay, if you don't want to go as far as 5 years, 10 is the Apple takeover, so maybe like within the next 3 years, up to 3-5, where do you see yourself in terms of countries, sales, services, maybe, I don't know, different lines of services, and maybe in people? So if you like, what, 200 people in 2 years?
Ooh, I wouldn't say 200 people, but in terms of sales, so a couple of years ago we had 2.5 times the sales. That was the growth that we had, and last year we grew about 30%, which was quite good given the year. In terms of growth, I see ourselves continuing to grow, maybe not always doubling, but at a very healthy growth rate. And doing that by not only increasing in terms of our current range of products within hi-fi, also going into other geographies. So we're currently focusing more on Europe and in North America, and we are in about 40 different markets. But we would like to also extend our operations into Asia. So I can see the growth coming from a geographical coverage as well, and establishing ourselves in the key markets. So what I was describing to you, I can see as reinforcing our presence in the US, continuing to grow the presence in the UK, in Germany, in Asia. So that's another type of growth that I can see. And third, and very important one, also going into other industries. So if you think about digital audio is not key only to hi-fi. You have digital audio in things like custom installation, for example, if you have central audio systems in a hotel or in a home. So that's an area that we're already starting to work with. We also have professional audio recording studios. They still use a lot of computer-based things, and the sound quality is deceiving sometimes. So you're recording music and you're not really realizing the quality of what you're recording because you're not hearing it through a device that is designed specifically for that. So I think we can progress a lot in that industry. And another example that I can see further down the line is automotive as well. So you have a lot of companies working on speakers and amplifiers in high-end cars, but no one is really working on the source side in terms of digital audio. And we've done some tests and we know we can do a big difference in that field as well. So growing in industries is another area that I can see is growing too.
So you have a lot on your plate to chew on, I can say.
A lot of fun. That's okay. For sure.
And it's music, so yeah, you can always sing along.
Yeah, bringing music to everyone. I would love people to start listening to music with better quality, because sometimes we don't know what we're losing. It's so immersive when you have a good sound system and you can feel the stage in front of you. You can hear people clapping when you're listening to a live concert. You can hear the strings, you know where the singer is if you close your eyes. It gives you such a feeling and such a lift. And I think we lost that over the years. And I would really love people to start feeling that more.
You seem like a woman with a mission. Okay, Amélia, thank you very much for your time, for your wisdom, for your experience.
Just sharing a few tips, and we're always learning from each other. So thank you very much for inviting as well.
Amélia, last thing before you go. What's like the CD that's playing the most in your car?
Or in my car? Actually, none at
no. So
because I'm not driving a lot, just that.
In your mobile phones.
In my mobile phone. Well, if it's not takeover from my kids, because they do that a lot.
Okay.
I've been listening to Agnes Obel. That's one example, but I can listen to all sorts of music. I don't have a specific gender. I love discovering new music, and sometimes I discover artists that are no longer singing, for example, or playing, but I discover them now, and I love to understand where they come from, listen to their albums. It's that discovery that I enjoy as well.
Okay, that's all. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, Amélia. Time just flies, and see you next Tuesday. Okay.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.